is a programmable digital machine that executes a series of commands to process the input data, conveniently obtaining information that is subsequently sent to the output units. A computer is physically made up of numerous integrant circuits and various supporting extensions and accessories components, which together can perform various tasks extremely quickly and under the control of a program, software. It is made up of two essential parts: the hardware, with each the physical structure, and the software, with each the intangible part. A machine has at least one central processing unit, the CPU, the memory unit, and one input-output unit, peripheral. The input peripheral allows data input. The CPU is in charge of its processing, and the output device communicates them to the external media.
First computing device. Charles Babbage, an English mechanical engineer, originated the concept of a programmable computer, considered as the father of the computer. He conceptualized and invented the first mechanical computer in the early 19th century. After working on his revolutionary difference engine, designed to aid in navigational calculation in 1833, he realized that a much general design and analytical engine was possible. The input of programs and data was to be provided to the machine via punched cards, a method being used at the time to direct mechanical lamps such as the Jacquard lamp. For output, the machine will be a printer, a curve plotter, and a bell. This machine will also be able to punch numbers onto cards to be read on later. The engine incorporates an arithmetic logic unit, control flow in the form of conditional branching and loops, and integrated memory, making it the first design for a general-purpose computer that could be described in modern terms as Turing complete. The machine was about a century ahead of its time. All the parts for his machine had to be made by hand. This was a major problem for a device with thousands of parts. Eventually, the project was dissolved with the decision of the British government to cease funding. Babbage's failure to complete the analytical engine can be chiefly attributed to political and financial difficulties, as well as his desire to develop an increasingly sophisticated computer and to move ahead faster than anyone else could follow. Nevertheless, his son, Henry Babbage, completed a simplified version of the analytical engine's computer until the mill in 1888. He gave a successful demonstration of its use in computing tables in 1906.
Computers are as powerful and reliable as the human brain. It could perform around 38 trillion operations per second and hold around 3,588 terabytes of memory. The Intel Core digital processor is printed on silicon, which is refined from common beach sand. So the sand you step on the beach one day may be running your computer today. The microprocessors like the Intel 4004 responds to 740 kHz. If the speed of the cars increased at the same rate since 1971, today we will get from San Francisco to New York in 1 second. When processors are manufactured on a tiny scale, a speck of dust on them will equal a mountain of dirt on your home. If we obey an Intel Rapid Start technology inside our body, we could get up and be ready for class in less than 7 seconds. Time we spend normally opening our eyes and putting our feet on the ground. In a Turing-1, the sixth generation interactive processor is 14 nanometers, and a nanometer is so small that it takes 1 trillion of them to complete 1 meter.
Are really important in our daily life. We need it in our day every day because it makes easier most of the everyday work. Also, it allows us to do things that without a computer it will be impossible to do. A clear example of this are today's work and online classes. Without a computer, it will be impossible to do something so ordinary like having a class or going to work. Because of this and a lot of things more, computers are a really important part of our life.
Computers have taken a very important role in the daily life, especially more with this pandemic we were through. The best example are us, the students. The computer gave us the way we can communicate and learn at the same time. Schools have revolutionized the way of having classes. Nowadays, it doesn't matter the distance from where you are having classes. Half of the day we are sitting in front of a computer, in classes, doing homework, or just spending time in social media networks.
More and more people use computers instead of paper or books, so imagine a future without them will be alive. Also, computers are not going to disappear from everyday life. The way they are used will change, as well as their size and functions. The idea is that they make life easier without depending too much on them. Perhaps in the future, computers will be able to measure our emotions, read our body language, and may even be able to relate to us based on the things that they interest us.
Technology affects a lot in our daily life. Technology affects the way individuals communicate, learn, and think. It helps society and determines how people interact with each other on our daily basis. Technology plays an important role in a society today. It has positive and negative effects on the world and it impacts in our daily life.
A normal day with all the technology that exists will be a nightmare in my opinion. In the era we live, most of the activities in our routine need some technological device, from setting an alarm to wake up to traveling, and in some cases for keeping alive someone in a hospital. The life will be very difficult. We wouldn't be able to search for information. We wouldn't be able to communicate with our friends and family that live far from us. The afternoon will be very boring, and most of the works will be more difficult and hard to do. All that because the technology made work easier for us.